if you're strong enough, they can say, oh, you know what? He or she is talking about me.
Oh.
And they can begin to take action towards that direction.
Okay.
And if you sustain the engagement, they'll get to a position where they are willing to take action and to invest in themselves.
Okay.
The key indices here is how well are young people willing to invest in themselves. That's what we're using to measure the 4 types of young people that we are dealing with.
Okay.
The first 5%, they are self-driven.
Okay.
They are willing to invest in them because they know what they want.
Okay.
And once they see it, they know it. Right. The second 35%, they don't know it, but when your marketing is strong enough, when your conversation is strong enough, when you're able to give them an Eureka moment during the time when you're talking, they say, oh, you know what, she's talking about me, and they begin to, their life changes from that moment.
All right.
And they begin to take action that are consistent with the direction of where they want to go to.
Okay.
I've seen that severally in the last 8 years of talking to young people. The next category, they are the indifferent. Now, the discerning, they are an endangered species because they are so close to the next category, which is the indifferent. The indifferent category, they are the NFAs. You know, what we call the no future ambition. When they were in secondary school, they don't care about anything. When they are in university, they just want to pass. When they go to NYSC, they just show up because they have to show up.
Right.
When they finish out of service year, they believe nobody can succeed without either stealing.
Yeah.
They believe nobody can succeed without doing anything negative.
Swerving.
They don't believe in the positive approach to success.
Success.
So if you ever stand in front of them and you are speaking all the sweet words, even no matter how convincing you get, they're like, oh, you can talk like that because you know what?
He got something.
He got something, you know what I mean?
He's got a family member that
helped him, you know. Oh, he's
money made available.
Exactly. Oh, he's only lucky.
Or his favor.
Exactly. Or you know, just out of 190 million people, just you alone succeeded like this. Who cares about Mark Zuckerberg? Exactly. Even when he came to Nigeria, he was broke.
Yes.
Even they have every reason why things will not work.
Absolutely.
And these guys are so loud. They're so opinionated.
Yeah.
They're so involved. They're the one that actually change the environment where they are. And that is why the discerning guy, they are an endangered species because they have a tendency to incline more towards their strong negative opinion than believe in the positive statement that anybody is saying before them.
Okay.
But unfortunately for us, these guys are 55%.
Whoa.
And they are unwilling to invest in themselves. But we have a business to do with them. We know that there's a way to reach them.
Okay, so what has been the tool you have used so far that's been the best tool?
The tools to reach them have been freebies. They believe in freebies.
Okay.
They believe in something for nothing. Okay. And if you must reach them, you must attract them with something. You must give. That's why Facebook is doing well. You monetize Facebook today, you realize that it's going to be broke. Mm-hmm. They love free things. Without knowing that they're actually investing by buying data. Yeah. Right? They didn't know that you're investing by spending their time on Facebook. Yeah. Because your time is what is making Mark Zuckerberg rich, you know.
And they're building their own, building a social capital for Facebook. They don't know that the number of people they're bringing in as friends is actually what's making it work.
So, and the last category of people, they are the disillusioned. They're about 5%. They are young women, they are young people that have advantage. Okay. They have some level of advantage. Maybe their father is rich, they study abroad, they have access, they have some advantage, but they don't make the most of it. They just have this feeling that, look, I don't have to do anything. They don't believe in processes. They don't believe you have to be 9-year-old before you are 10. Oh. Oh yes. They just believe, look, if the bunch can make it, I can make it.
They don't know how he made it.
They don't care about the story.
And that's the reason why we have the show.
Exactly.
So we bring people in and let them share the story.
Exactly.
When did it dawn on you?
Exactly.
So we want to know the story before the story.
Exactly.
We want to know where you were before you got here.
Exactly.
What was the experience?
Exactly.
You just see someone all the way up there and you feel they just walked into it.
Exactly.
There was no work. There was no process. There was no diligence. There was no focus.
Exactly.
There was no commitment. There were no sacrifices. But there were so many sacrifices that need to be made.
Exactly.
And that these people need to see these things. Like when you have a disillusioned young person,
yes,
what happens? What's mostly the outcome of such young people?
Now, the truth of the matter is some of them that I've been privileged to work with is a very simple, it's going to their psyche actually.
Okay.
to ask each and every one of all these guys, they all have something in their psychological framework that you can trigger. Everybody's got a price.
Okay.
So these disillusioned guys, you know what they're looking for? Even if they are sons and daughters of somebody or they are rich, they have an advantage, they are wannabes. You know what they call wannabes?
Yeah.
They just want to be popular, they want to be at the center of the show.
Absolutely.
So what do? You put them there.
Put them at the center.
Put them at the center of the show. Make them the cheerleader of an event. Okay. Let them be the one everybody is celebrating. Make them the picture, make them the face of your folder. Let them just tell every other person, we need to celebrate this guy. You know, they will go out of their way to help you to achieve what you want to do.
Okay.
And what you now have to do is, once you have worked with them to achieve what will not benefit them at the initial stage, you now begin to work them back to realize that, you know, all you've done it only for me. You've not done it for yourself. Then you take them back and say, you know what you can do with this opportunity you have. You might not have to do what this guy is doing, but you can be here and be the one coordinating everybody.
Okay.
And I've been privileged to see many of them who don't have business skills, who don't have skills to work for somebody else, actually being at the center, providing resources, money, influence that they have for other people that have things to do to actually do it. And they're getting a little bit of the action. You understand? And it's amazing how, I mean, I've been a privilege. I've benefited from such young people. I've climbed to places where, yes, that's the truth.
So, but when you now have a young person that doesn't have this advantage, and just has this strong mindset that there's a wrong way, you know, you just have to do something wrong to get there.
Yes.
Because there's some set of people that are made for success. They're either lucky, or they're favored, or they've got something. And I don't have all that, so I'm going to have to go the wrong way.
Yes.
How do you deal with those kind of people? Now, that's the reason why we said when we get back, we're going to be talking about what exactly is it that helps a young person realize that there's anything called a Eureka moment, that moment of light. I was speaking with someone sometime and they said it doesn't have to be a positive experience. Sometimes it can get very bad.
Very bad, yes.
Like when you say you want to create a hunger in a person, how important is a Eureka moment? Because if I don't know that I need a Eureka moment, if I don't even know how important it is, what if I'm sitting down waiting, I went to speak somewhere, I'm done speaking, a young lady comes after me and says she does catering, she makes cakes and makes all this, and she wants me to help her. And I thought she would understand that the only way I can help you is to realize that you have something inside you and the whole world is looking for you. It's just that you need to know your audience. But when I was done telling her all that, I could see she wasn't listening to me, because what she wanted me to do is write her a check.
Yes.
So how important is it?
I mean, your experience is not the first. You know, the World Bank did a research, you know, in 2009, and they found out that an average Nigerian youth is not fit for mentoring. Why? Because they're always looking to your hands, not your heart. You know, so I mean, it's a peculiar experience that we are faced, you know, in the work we do. But how do we create a hunger in a young person? And how important is that moment where a young person's lives begin to change? You know, it takes a spark for there to be a turn.
One spark.
Just one spark. And one of the ways we realize that to create that spark, first and foremost, is by actually knowing what is it that is, whether it's a depressive feeling or a desire in the heart of that person. So, but when you have a large pool of people, usually how to now find out what is that central trend amongst them becomes, like, if it's a one-on-one, it's a lot easier. It's just a psychological engagement. I can look straight into your eyes, ask a couple of questions, and I'll lead you on without you definitely knowing we're going somewhere. Right. And the key thing I want to ask from that individual, for example, is I want to know what the person is coming from and where the person would like to go to. Once I can actually locate those two trajectory in the person's life, and I can actually find out where the person is, then we'll be able to know how has the person gotten here, and what are the possible obstacles. And I'm not talking about money, I'm not talking about social economic issue in Nigeria, I'm talking about inner issues, internal issues.
Beautiful.
That is not allowing this person to see beyond now. So once we see that, the next question is to actually get the person to see the bigger picture.
So it's all about seeing.
I don't want to tell you about what you can. I just want to give you a bigger picture.
So first and foremost, what the person is seeing and why the person is seeing wrongly.
Exactly.
Then you need to see. That's what a Eureka moment is.
You see, for example, this country right now, as a nation, needs a Eureka moment.
Wow.
Oh yes.
We need Eureka
We're not seeing right. We're seeing in the dark, dimly.
So we need a Eureka.
We need a moment when it was, this is possible for Nigeria.
This is possible, and this is what we need. This is what we need to see.
Exactly.
So it's like a light coming in a dark situation.
In a dark situation. That light comes, boom. The American talks about wanting to live the American dream. That was a light.
That's the light.
That is guiding them.
That's the light.
And an average Nigerian does not have what to live for other than survival.
Survival.
And that is what keeps us in the cycle of going. And that also deadens Eureka moments in people's lives. Survivor instinct does not allow you to have,
to reach that place. And so what we normally try and do, what we do as in to make people realize that Eureka moments are important, is bring people to share their Eureka moments.
I'll tell you about my story.
Okay.
Now, when I came to Lagos, I never really wanted to come to Lagos. I hated Lagos. Okay?
Okay.
But when I got an invitation to Lagos,
because of some information you got about Lagos or something.
I really never loved Lagos. Okay. I had my own plans. Okay. I didn't like Lagos because of any fear, but I had my own plans on how I was going to move from my little place in Ibadan where I was living, and I was going to pass through Lagos to go to London, America, Europe. I had my plans, just like many other people have their plans.
Absolutely.
Just like we talk about Eureka moment, it might not be a new thing, it might be a correction of your error.
Good.
Do you understand? I had this fantastic idea of how I think my life should be, you understand? But over time, I got an insight and I got a different opinion. All of us, on a regular basis, we need to upgrade even our knowledge. We need to upgrade our understanding. We need to improve on what we hold on to.
Yeah.
So we hold on to something so tightly. Go for knowledge. That is why everyday study, it's a very, very useful tool, because inside the book is just that light that will spark up some, because knowledge is also progressive. What you know yesterday is going to spark out. The new knowledge you have today is also going to now bring what you know yesterday to make sense. Right. So what was my own experience? I got here and I got this job in Lagos, and it was a fantastic job in a small place. Okay? But I loved it because it gave me an opportunity to be me. Okay? Now, when I came for that interview, I failed the test they gave me twice. Big time. I mean, I was what that my boss would call Nigerian graduates are not employable, because I couldn't pass the test they gave me, and according to them, that was the cheapest test in that consulting firm. So they went, "Hey, you brought this guy that is so smart. He cannot even pass ordinary test. Look, we have given this guy waivers, too many waivers, and he cannot pass the number one. We don't recruit anybody that doesn't come from a federal university or a private university or foreign university. Number two, we don't recruit anybody that doesn't have a 2-1 or a first class. Number three, we don't recruit anybody that doesn't go to a federal government college." You look at all those criteria. So I'm like, okay, I'm not useful. I'm not even trying to be garbage. But they gave me an opportunity for an interaction like this. And my boss, my interviewer, had an Eureka moment. And that is what every interviewer on a job situation wants to have from you when she's interviewing you.
Now, was your boss that had the Eureka moment?
Yes, because of the engagement we had. So suddenly she said,
when did you have yours?
That Eureka moment. So that experience I had of the fact that somebody might not be good with passing an exam does not mean the person is stupid. Was the background that led to my Eureka moment. I had this experience in 2001. The real Eureka moment that jump-started Mind the Gap started in traffic. I was driving home in a brand new car. I've always had the desire to do Mind the Gap. I was driving home, and in front of UBA on Akpongbo Bridge, a guy knocked on my door and brought out a gun. That's why I say most of the time it's not usually a pleasant moment.
Yes,
he brought out a gun and he was like, wind down, bring out your phone. Those days when they used to rob in Lagos City. And it was like, bring out everybody. I said, why are you doing this? He said, I'm a graduate too. That moment it dawned on me that what I ought to have been doing, helping graduates to find their life, not doing it almost costed me my life. At that moment, I knew there were people who ought to be given the same opportunity like I had that woman gave me by listening to me, though I couldn't pass the test. And that is what triggered, finally, my decision to begin to pursue Mind the Gap as something I'm going to do full time. I've been doing it all the while. So there might be one of these other guys out there who need help. So why don't I step out? And in the last 8 years, I've met a couple of them.
You can say that again.
I've met a couple of them who are going in a different direction. They were like,
from where they're supposed to be.
From where they will tell me, thank God I met you.
No.
I don't have plans to stay in Lagos. I don't even know what I was going to do after service here.
No.
You know, I don't know what I would have been doing.
And so how much do they embrace that part of not waiting for money, not waiting to be put in a position, but realization?
Yeah, I think it's about what you're doing. It's about telling them my story.
Okay.
Because you see, there's nothing more powerful than telling stories.
Okay.
You can give me principles. You can tell me do this. But you tell me your story.
Thank you.
And you tell me how this principles has worked in your story.
Life, in your story.
In your story.
So what we do is bring stories.
Yes, and your story resonates with me.
And it resonates with you.
Do you understand? I can show me proofs that it will work for me. What's advertising all about? So Pablo, Omo, I use Omo, it clean my clothes. If you use it to,
it's gonna clean yours.
I mean, I'm just giving you an
So bring the story. Simple. That's what we're doing. Yes. Bring the story. It's not every story that will reach out to everybody.
Exactly.
But one story could reach out to a particular set of people.
Exactly.
And so let's bring the stories.
Exactly.
Let's bring them to life.
And that's why anyone that has a that call himself a success story, success today, should be willing to tell their story. Absolutely.
I love that. I love what you just said. Yes. Everyone that actually sees themselves as a success shouldn't keep that story to themselves.
No. Except there's something to hide.
And good. And if there's nothing to hide,
tell your story.
Tell your story. But why? Why do you? I want you to tell them. Tell them why they should tell their story.
You see, the reason why is very simple. If you look at the national anthem of Nigeria, it says, second stanza, I said, "O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right."
Yeah.
But in case those two things don't happen, please help our youth the truth to know. The thing that shapes a community and shapes the lives of people, number one, is good causes.
Good causes.
Help, direct our noble cause. Do we have noble causes as a nation? All of us celebrate, Barack Obama today because he represents a noble cause. That's his story.
And so the noble cause that we should all try and represent, number one, is if you have a success story, why aren't you looking out for the other young people around you that, look, how can I help this next person that's a bit confused or seemingly not knowing where he or she is going?
Exactly.
By just telling your story.
The way life is built up is in cells. The first cell that formed the complex human being that we see today was not one little tiny cells. And every single thing you see in Facebook today was just one little thought that flashed through the mind of the guy. And he stayed on it and was able to build on it. So that's why we mustn't joke. And what we said to the audience, you must recognize what an Eureka moment means to you. And the way a person will be able to know this is something I need to sustain is only if you have a direction, if you have a path. Even if you don't have a path of, this is what I want to achieve. If you have some confusing situation like many people do have, do you understand? You must settle it in your mind that for every single confusion, there is a solution.
There is.
You understand? Once you have that and you believe and you depend on the fact that this is not going to come from outside, it's going to come from within.
And you begin to look forward to it.
Look inside.
waiting for it.
Look inside.
Looking for it.
The power of
And you should expect it.
Yeah. The power of looking inside is really one of the things that I think is going to be the starting point from people having Eureka moments.
Looking on the inside.
Just looking inside. Of course, people find it very difficult to look inside, or people don't get anything inside because they don't feel anything inside. Because Eureka moment is not going to come out of emptiness. Whatever you put in is what you get out. And that is why if we're going to stimulate a whole lot of Eureka moment as a culture, as an everyday experience, like they said that if you go to Silicon Valley today, if you know that the kind of light bulbs that comes out of the minds of people in Silicon Valley, if they aggregate it, the world will have been saved.
Absolutely.
Because when they walk there's like the spirit there that they just want to think about a solution. So if you create a nation where people begin to think about solution, if you create a culture where everybody just thinks solution.
I'm a solution.
Everybody just thinks solution. We don't think about what is not working.
They begin to think of how can I make it work?
No, when they see anything, the word solution is the driving force.
Okay.
A place like that is Japan. They have a culture of solutions. Everybody from a young kid is always thinking about if you have something you want to invent, you want to do something. And that is why their man hour is about 6 times more. Their productivity level is about 6 times more Asians than ours.
Yeah.
Because their brain work faster. They think about solution. So, and what are the benefits of this Eureka moment? I can see it in the lives of many of the guys that I've worked with over a long period of time.
Okay.
Because I asked some of them that, how come, we spoke to thousands of people when we were in camp. One of them said, look, I've been thinking about this thing before, but when I met you, this happened.
Okay.
And you will see the trajectory that many of their lives have gone through. It's been like someone said recently to me, meeting you and connecting with you, give me an opportunity not to be in the crowd. And I'm like, big deal. What does it mean? Everybody, you can be in the crowd if you like. But I have to say, okay, what does that mean to him?
Okay.
So that might be something that's precious that I don't want to be in the crowd.
He doesn't want to be the every old
I don't want to be the everyday person. And I look at that individual and say, really, he's not in the crowd. He's just on a trajectory. Because every single thing some of us are having to pay money for, he doesn't have to pay for it. So you have to ask if there are benefits that comes out of when somebody can actually get that Eureka moment and when you can nurture it. And you can actually stay on it. And just nurture, stay on it, and get it. Because there is no resources, there is no money, there is no benefit. Your family, your company, your country, the banks, nobody is going to give you shishi money to support you until they see some kind of a light coming out of you. People don't support failures.
For those waiting for the money,
no money.
The Eureka moments come first.
Yes.
The action you take with that Eureka moment, how well you're able to sustain it.
Yes.
So do you know what, everyone? Look out for your Eureka moments.
Yes.
And they come from time to time to time. It's been a wonderful time.
Pleasure.
Great time with Tayo. As always. I told you one of my Eureka moments happened being in a meeting with him. It's been a wonderful time. Thank you very much. Pleasure. It's been Eureka Moments. Until next episode, please look out for those wonderful times. We'll be bringing stories to you, different people sharing their different stories, and we hope that you get your Eureka moment when you're listening to theirs. Thank you.